you help me with this.
Okay.
Okay. Now we have talked about the similarities about Japan, Brazil, and Korea in communication, and the similarities are few similarities because it's very different. We don't find similarities between the three cultures. Maybe Korea and Japan or Korea and Brazil, but the three cultures is very different one of the other. The background about men and women. The men they have to be strong. Okay, the three situations they have to be strong. It's a little different because in Brazil I can talk they don't need to, today is not that the man is support their family. The women today support their family, so it's a little different. But they grow up with this idea to be strong. So in the three cultures, the woman is different because in Brazil the girls don't grow up with this idea to get a good marriage to a husband and not to work. Today they grow up with this idea to be free, to study a lot. Today woman is the major in my area. For example, in the university, most of the students are girls in law today in Brazil. So it's very different, the background in Brazil from Japan and Korea. In the adults, we think together they are the same oriented. The competition oriented for men and the family oriented for women. This is not changed. It's the same. The man is the business, the work, and the woman think about the family, the children. Today it's divided. Today is still divided. The woman take care of the family, the children, and the man go to the work. The summary is this. The contrasts. The contrasts we found a lot of contrasts. All the contrasts we talk about. And Japan, the boys grow up with the idea to make their own family happy in the future, think about the family. In Brazil, we talk about the men, the boys that don't have to cry or they have to play with cars, but they don't have this idea to, you have to do your family happy in the future. Because today it's not happening in Brazil. The families are broken with a lot of divorces, and there's no. It's very common that divorces raising a number of much more than marriage. So it's very common. So they don't have this idea of making your family happy. And in Korea, the men have to support their own family. It's different because in Brazil it's divided. Today it's divided. The woman work and support the family. Most of the time the woman supports in the law. The law with less money. The family with less money.
Lower incomes?
Lower. The women support their family. Because the men, most of the time, they go out and they didn't come back. And then the woman supports their family in the, how's the name?
Low income.
Low income, yes.
With a low income, yeah.
Low income, yes. And the girls in Japan, they grow up with the idea to be happy, to be peacefully, to raise their children, to have a family. In Brazil, it's the same. The girl, not the same, but you have to be feminine, you have to have your family, but it's not with the same idea. To have a husband, to get a marriage, and to stay there. No. You have to work, you have to do a lot of things. Today, women have two jobs. During the day, we work in the company, in the office, and after the work, we work at home. We divide the domestic duties with the men. And in Korea, it's to be calm and quite like just to explain. You have to be calm, to be quiet. But we don't have this in Brazil, to be calm and to be quiet. Yeah, it's very different. The girls talk a lot, much more than the men. And so it's a little different. So the next. And about the adults, in Japan, the man is the person who will solve the problem, and he get along only with people who like themselves. It's different in the other countries. In Brazil, we get along with a lot of people. If we not have this kind of problem, we try to be friends. And the woman, when somebody to listen to her problem, it's different. In Brazil, you go to the psychiatrist, and outside, if you want somebody to listen to her problem, it's more independent. You don't need to talk with your husband or with your mother. You go talk to a psychiatrist and talk about her problem. Yeah, it's different. And communicate only with friends, and communicate with people they don't like so much. It's a contrast with. But it's not so contrasting. We talk with everybody. It's not a problem. In Brazil, the men are a little more aggressive than women, and the women are more emotional and sensitive to explain their ideas, and they cry much more than men. It's a little different, and they are good listeners. It's a nice type of characters. To be a good listener. In work, today the women grow up in career because of this. They listen very much more in a meeting with a lot of people. It's very nice. And in Korea, sometimes they seem to command the others. It's like to explain. It's to do this, do that.
Maybe military service creates a lot of offense. I think so.
Today we have this kind of thing in Brazil in both of women and men. Today, women command the companies and the people. Yeah, it's very common. Very common. I have a lot of boss women, and and the answer is usually short, and they don't express their feelings because they think about what do they think about me, the reputation. Oh, I can talk. We don't mind about the reputation so much. Yes, we talk. We are in our minds and don't think. Oh, what does the other think about me? It's a little different. It's not a worry so big. It's different, and they talk to ask something other just to get agreement. It's very different. Not to get agreement. We talk to what we think about, and if the other people don't agree, it's a problem. Okay. And good express your feeling and emotional. I think it's the same. It's not a contrast, but they are good. I don't know if the women in Japan are good to express their feeling. I think they are a little fight, but it's the same. Yeah.
So conclusion. So how's your feeling? How different? Do you know how different our cultures?
Yeah.
So we thought about like that. Wherever we live, all people have a different style of communication with each other. And so we have to understand. So please try to respect their own style and each other, especially both gender, man and female. So we can understand them more easily, and we can get along with more and more time, and we can enjoy our life peacefully. So thank you for listening to our presentation. And if you have a question, then just ask us. Thank you.
Excellent. Very good. All right, gentlemen, any questions for them about their gender differences in communication with men and women?
Perfect.
It was clear on everything. Was clear for them. They didn't raise any questions for you.
I have really a question.
Mhm.
But this you guys are talking about. I think, in my opinion, they're talking about. You are talking about culture, not communication.
Well, the communication and culture, no.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. What were you questioning? What is the question?
Not question.
As an
Just
observation?
an opinion.
An opinion. Okay.
Because I think because you thought about because the background. Background is because it causes our word communication rate is too much. Is
the reason of the communication.
That's why.
Okay, I understand that you're the reason that you talked about culture a lot because your cultures expect you to be a certain way, and that was what forms your communication. Yes, I agree.
Okay.
I agree. As you grow up, you are given the rules to your mind, and you portray that as you get older. And it's only as you get older that maybe some of your, like your Korean, like you mentioned, are saying, no more. I'm not being like that. I want to be a real person. I'm a female and a person at the same time. So that is why they're saying, no, I'm not going to be, I don't have to worry about saving face, right? I want to be a female and I can be blunt just like a man, right? So I can fit into a man's world, make it a male and female world, combined genders. Now in Brazil, you're saying that you grow up with the combined gender being both aggressive and having have a workplace. Now is something that's just recently happened?
Recently.
So within the last how many years?
10 years, 20 years.
10 to 20 years. How long have you had a female president? Or is it president or prime minister?
Sorry?
The president.
President. She's in the 2 years.
Is that the first female president?
It's our first.
The first one, but she's been in power for like three.
But she was minister of,
okay.
I don't know the name.
So in politics there was females
in
growing.
politics,
Okay.
no,
what about in Korea? Female politicians?
Politicians, yes. Now there's a little politicians, but not president. But one woman tried to be a president, but it's a little controversy.
For sure. Now, what about Japan? Do they have female politicians?
Yeah.
Is there a female in top power? Has there been a female, what are you, presidents or prime ministers?
No, president.
You're president?
Minister. Yeah. Never. Yeah,
never. Never. What about even previous to when you was it not a dynasty? I'm thinking
I have a question.
Emperors. Have you ever had an empress?
Prime Minister and President.
The Prime Minister is with provinces, the President is with states. Okay? And Brazil has states, and Canada has provinces, and the United States has states as well. What about in Mexico?
States.
States. There you go. You have a president. Excellent.
Prime Minister. Both.
Both?
Nah.
I'm like, what? How can that be? Well, provinces within our state. No. Okay. Yeah, I don't have any more questions. Any more questions that we've risen up from there? Okay. The reason I was talking about political, because as children grow up, they see that as well. That people, because even as your parents watch television and they see females in power, then these girls, as they grow up, thinking, wow, I can be the president too. Whereas before, in, say, 20, 30 years ago, even in Canada, no girls were thinking about being the president of the United States. They may have, but not really gone after it. Mostly it was the men that went after it. Nowadays, it seems that a lot of more females, even from Canada and from the United States, want to be in a place of power. It feels better for them. So, all right. Okay. Any more questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. Great job.